Today, what a beautiful Monday morning. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining outside, and I wake up to see Stephanie White getting dragged through the mud for being a snake oil salesman, aka a liar, all online. Oh, what a great day. Cheers to that, folks. Good morning to you. Good morning to you.
Caitlin Clark fans are not just angry after Indiana's season opener, they are already demanding Stephanie White be fired. And the scary part is, this did not take weeks. It did not take 10 games. It did not even take a losing streak. It took one night, one chaotic, high-scoring, painful opener against the Dallas Wings, where the Indiana Fever lost 107-104 and immediately turned the most hyped start of the season into a full-blown crisis.
Well, we've got the continued fallout from the Indiana Fever loss to the Dallas Wings at home in the home opener to a team that won 10 games last year. The fallout is getting, the fandom getting loud. By fandom, I mean Caitlin Clark fandom. You had a lot of things coming out of that. You had the great mystery of back injury. Is it a back injury compensating for something else? Was it a hip flexor? Was it her groin? ABC threw that out there, and everybody immediately, I'm looking at the TV going, wait, what?
Because this was not supposed to happen. Not at home. Not with Caitlin Clark bringing historic attention to the league. Not against a Dallas team that won only 10 games last season. And definitely not under Stephanie White, the coach who was supposed to bring structured defense and a real identity back to Indiana.
Stephanie White. Folks, how many pick and rolls did we see in the season opener against the Dallas Wings? 2? 3? No more than 4, that's for damn sure. Why? Well, because Stephanie White, she's too smart. She knows too much. She's an elite ball knower, remember? She's a basketball junkie, remember? All I do every day, I wake up and I put on basketball, and then I go to sleep and I put on basketball, and I go to practice and I'm watching basketball, and I'm watching film tape. Stephanie, stop with the lies. Stop with the lies. We know you come in at 6:30, you punch out at 3:30, and you go home and you lay down on your couch watching soap operas for the rest of the day. We know how it goes. Nothing about you feels like obsessed with my job. Everything about you feels like snake oil salesman.
But by the final buzzer, the fans were not talking about a close loss. They were asking one brutal question. Is Stephanie White already failing Caitlin Clark? And once that question hit social media, everything exploded. The memes started, the comments turned ugly. Fans mocked White as the coach of the century, and the calls to fire her started getting louder by the minute.
Fire White, no size playing CC off ball. She does what she does, not work, then talks trash about Caitlin Clark fans. Look in the audience, what do you see? I gotta tell you, these ladies act like we haven't spent the last 6 decades watching the best basketball on earth. We know what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, I mean, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s of the NBA, you know what real good basketball is supposed to look like. Find a coach that can build around Clark, manage Mitchell, or trade her. Make this team something people wants to watch. Tick-tock, tick-tock.
But here is what makes this different. This was not just emotional fans melting down after one bad result. A lot of them believe they saw the exact same problems they warned about before the season even started. Bad spacing, weak bench minutes, no real protection for Caitlin Clark, too many defensive breakdowns, too many open shots, too much confusion when the game got tight, and one moment late in the game made everything worse. In the final minute, Stephanie White appeared to ask her staff what Dallas was going to run.
No wonder you lit the Vanderbilt program on flames. Just burn it to the ground. My boy Venom, I'm showing this. Go subscribe. This reaction And I saw this late last night. His reaction is all you need to know.
Make sure they deny. What do you think they're going to run here?
Game first season opener ever in the history of this league.
And I want to know who she's talking to. Bree January is on the right side right here drinking. Who could she have been asking this question to?
Where both teams have scored 100 points. Let's listen into the huddles.
Check the other bit. So make sure we deny. What do you think they're going to run here?
This is a look of a coach that has zero idea what she's doing. This is the look of a coach that has zero idea what she's literally in the heat of the moment when adversity is adversitying the most, if that's even a word. And she's looking. All players' eyes on her, looking for her for the answer. And she's looking around. What do you think they're going to run here?
I'll stop it right there.
To some people, that may sound normal. Coaches communicate. Coaches ask questions. Coaches talk through situations. But to angry Fever fans watching their team fall apart, that moment looked like panic. It looked like a coach searching for answers instead of giving them. And once the clip started circulating, fans had their proof, at least in their minds. This was not just a roster issue. This was a leadership issue. And that is why the backlash hit so hard. Because Indiana did not just lose. They lost in a way that made fans feel like Caitlin Clark is still being wasted. That is the real story here. Caitlin Clark is not a normal player. She is not just another young guard trying to find her place in the league. She is the player who changed the entire conversation around the WNBA. She brought the ratings. She brought the sold-out arenas. She brought new fans, old NBA fans, casual viewers, and people who had never watched a full WNBA game before. So when Indiana puts her on the floor, the expectation is simple. Build around her, protect her, use her correctly, give her the kind of system that makes her dangerous every single possession. But against Dallas, fans did not see that. They saw Clark working too hard. They saw her getting pressured. They saw moments where the offense looked disconnected. They saw her playing off the ball when they wanted the game running through her hands. And they saw a Fever team that still did not seem to understand how rare this opportunity is. At Iowa, Caitlin Clark had an identity. The whole offense made sense. The spacing was clear. The screens came at the right time. Her teammates understood their roles. Everything was built around the gravity she created. But in Indiana, fans keep asking the same question. Why does it still feel so difficult? Why does the offense still look clunky? Why is the most dangerous offensive weapon in women's basketball not being put in the best possible position every trip down the floor? And after this opener, that frustration finally boiled over because it was not just the offense. The defense was even harder to explain. Stephanie White was brought in as a defensive-minded coach. That was supposed to be the upgrade. That was supposed to be the new identity. The Fever were supposed to be tougher, sharper, more organized, more disciplined. But Dallas scored 107 points, 107, in Indiana, in the season opener, against a team the Fever were supposed to beat. That is why fans are furious, because the entire selling point of this new era was that Indiana would finally stop being soft, sloppy, and easy to attack. Instead, Dallas got open looks. They found rhythm. They got to the free throw line. They punished mistakes. And every time Indiana needed a stop, it felt like the Wings had an answer. That is not just one player having a bad night. That is a system problem. And when your system fails on opening night, with the whole league watching, the coach is always going to take the heat. But Stephanie White is not the only one under pressure. The front office should be feeling it too, because the help, who changes the game? When the pace gets frantic, who settles the team down? That is where Indiana looked exposed. And that is where fans started turning from frustrated to furious, because they have seen what elite teams look like. Facing Clark, the fans saying if this continues, Caitlin should want out. That is when a bad loss becomes something much bigger, because once a fan base starts talking about whether the franchise deserves its superstar, you are no longer dealing with normal criticism. You are dealing with a trust problem. And right now, Indiana has a trust problem. Fans do not fully trust the coaching. They do not fully trust the roster. They do not fully trust the front office. And after that opener, they are not sure Caitlin Clark is being protected the way a franchise-changing player should be protected. That is the part the Fever cannot ignore. This is not just about Stephanie White. It is about the entire organization proving it knows what it has. Because Caitlin Clark is not just another player on the roster. She is the engine. She is the reason arenas are packed. She is the reason the spotlight is so bright. She is the reason every Fever game now feels like a national event. And when you have that kind of player, the standard changes. Every decision gets bigger. Every rotation matters more. Every lost possession gets dissected. Every bad coaching moment becomes a headline. And every loss feels heavier. That may not be fair, but it is reality. And Stephanie White is now living in that reality. After one game, she is already under the microscope. Not because one loss should define a season, but because this loss confirmed too many fears at once. The defense looked bad. The bench looked thin. The offense looked uncomfortable. Clark did not look fully empowered. And the team looked unprepared in the biggest moments. That is why this opener felt so damaging. It was supposed to calm people down. Instead, it poured fuel on the fire. And now, the Fever are facing the first real crisis of the season before the season has even had a chance to breathe. So should Stephanie White be fired right now? Honestly, no. One game should not decide a coach's entire future. That would be an overreaction. But should Stephanie White be under immediate pressure? Absolutely. Because the Fever do not have the luxury of wasting time. Not with Caitlin Clark. Not with this level of attention. Not with a fan base that is already questioning whether the franchise is good enough for her. White does not need to be perfect, but she needs to show very quickly that there is a plan. She needs to show that the defense can actually improve. She needs to show that the offense can be built around Caitlin's strengths. She needs to show that late-game moments will not turn into confusion. And she needs to show fans that this team is not just hoping Caitlin Clark saves them every night. Because if the Fever keep looking like this, the conversation will get uglier. It will not just be fans demanding Stephanie White be fired. It will be fans demanding roster changes, front office changes, a complete reset. And eventually, the conversation nobody in Indiana wants to hear will get louder. Why should Caitlin Clark stay loyal to a team that cannot build properly around her? That is the real danger. Not one loss, not one bad defensive night, not one ugly social media reaction. The real danger is that the Fever waste the early years of the most important player in the sport. That is why this opener mattered so much. It was not just Dallas beating Indiana. It was a warning. A warning that hype alone does not win games. A warning that Caitlin Clark cannot carry a broken structure forever. A warning that fans are watching every move. And a warning that Stephanie White's grace period may already be gone. The Fever can still fix this. It is early. One game does not end a season, but first impressions matter. And Indiana's first impression was chaos. So now the pressure is on. Stephanie White has to prove she is the right coach. The front office has to prove it built the right team. And the players have to prove this opener was not a sign of what is coming. Because Caitlin Clark fans have already made their message clear. They are not waiting quietly this year. They are not accepting excuses. And if Indiana keeps wasting these moments, the calls for Stephanie White to be fired are only going to get louder. So now I want to know what you think. Are Caitlin Clark fans overreacting after one bad loss? Or did Stephanie White already show signs that she is the wrong coach for this team? And if you are still watching, drop Clark Crisis in the comments.
All right, it looks like the GOAT Caitlin Clark may be finally taking somewhat of a stand versus the nonsense that Stephanie White has been attempting to push upon her. We just saw Sophie Cunningham talk about Kelsey Mitchell potentially winning MVP and all of this stuff. It seems like everybody has forgotten the reason that all of the people are here, themselves included.
Caitlin Clark just sent a warning that Stephanie White cannot ignore. And the scary part is, she did not need to scream. She did not need to call anyone out. She did not need to start drama in front of a microphone. All Caitlin had to do was say the quiet part out loud. If she does not play basketball well, none of this comes with it. The tickets, the cameras, the sold-out arenas, the national TV games, the brand deals, the attention, the entire machine that has suddenly wrapped itself around the Indiana Fever.
Oh man, let's pull it up right now. and let me show y'all what the hell I'm talking about, because they in trouble. They're in a world of trouble. Now, this is the footage right here. Let me scroll down. We're going to go over this stuff here because they showed the final roster. So this is the clip. And what's crazy about this clip? I missed this clip yesterday. This clip came out yesterday morning. It said, our coach allowed a supporter, Stephanie White, mic'd up. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Let's watch this. Let's watch it.
Don't be trying to get athletic. Just be bullied. Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah, KK. Come on, Yellow. Yeah, tell him, Mike. Come on. Great cut. Great cut. Good. Mismatch. Yes. Good, Didi. Good, Tori. Good. Nice. Yes. Good. Good.
What the hell is this? What the hell?
That was not just a quote. That was a warning, because Caitlin Clark knows exactly why people are watching. They are not tuning in to see her stand in the corner. They are not buying tickets to watch her become a normal off-ball guard. They are not filling arenas to see the most electric player in basketball get turned into a side piece in someone else's system. They are watching for the logo threes. They are watching for the full court passes. They are watching for the chaos she creates when the ball is in her hands. And now, all eyes are on Stephanie White, because if the Indiana Fever get this wrong, the backlash will not be small. It will be loud, it will be emotional, and it may turn into the first major crisis of the Caitlin Clark era.
When it rains, it definitely pours, man. Stephanie White is back in the hot seat, dog. Now, there have been several videos coming out that various people have been posting showing Stephanie White in practice. Now, when practice first started up, after the CBA negotiations and stuff was over with, we was noticing something, a trend within Stephanie White. And to me, it looked like she wasn't coaching. Looked like she was just standing there clapping. Like a what? Cheerleader. That's what she was doing. It was a whole lot of her not coaching. Somebody who was coaching is the assistant coach, Coach Kelly. He was coaching a lot. I mean, we seen Coach Kelly running up and down the sidelines, coaching as if it was a game. That's what you want to see, energy from your coaching staff. And I'm here to tell you, when it came to Breonna in January, she was coaching. We seen her do interviews. We seen her running up and down the sideline, coaching. Anytime we see Stephanie White, she's standing there, paper in her hand like this. Paper in her hand like this. That's what we see Stephanie White doing. And I'm telling you right now, this upcoming game against Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings, and the Wings look good. They don't look bad. They look good, and they damn sure don't look great, but they are beatable. Very much so beatable. Now, this is going to be the biggest test of the season already. Because I'm telling you right now, the whole season campaign is going to be fire Stephanie White. That is going to be the topic. I can almost guarantee you.
But before we go further, let's be clear. This is not about Caitlin Clark demanding special treatment. This is about the Fever understanding reality. Caitlin Clark is not ordinary. She is not just another young player trying to find her place. She is the reason Indiana became appointment television. She is the reason casual fans now know the Fever schedule. She is the reason every possession feels like it can become a viral moment.
This here is courtesy of Yahoo Sports, where it says Caitlin Clark spoke to Yahoo Sports about her growth as an endorsement sensation, business mogul, and more. Okay, now in this article, it is Caitlin kind of talking about, being an off-the-floor sensation and all this popularity and all of that is great. But the only reason all these people are here is because of my greatness on the floor, and I have to continue to showcase that at a high level if I'm gonna keep this stardom, okay? We already see ticket prices dwindling, fans taking a stand versus the organization, okay, for some wrongdoings, being lied to all last season about Caitlin Clark's injury, the day-to-day status, which was complete BS, and they know it, we know it, I know it, you know it. So, Caitlin Clark says this, okay? Caitlin Clark is a marketing juggernaut, but says winning will unlock more. At this point, Caitlin Clark can sign and secure any brand deal she wants. The only thing missing from her meteoric rise to global ubiquity is winning an elusive championship. The Indiana Fever superstar guard has helped spur the WNBA's growth to record heights as the league tips off its 30th season this weekend following a newly signed collective bargaining agreement that increases the average player's salary fourfold from 2025.
So when Caitlin says the basketball has to come first, she is not just talking about winning games. She is talking about the entire product. Because the Caitlin Clark product only works when Caitlin Clark is allowed to be Caitlin Clark. That means pace. That means freedom. That means the ball in her hands. That means letting her read the floor, bend the defense, and force opponents into panic. And that is where Stephanie White suddenly finds herself in a very difficult position. Because fans are already nervous. They have seen the practice clips. They have seen Stephanie White clapping on the sideline. They have heard the generic encouragement. They have watched assistant coaches look more active in certain moments. Now, to be fair, practice clips do not tell the full story. They are short, they are edited, they can miss context. A coach can be teaching before the camera rolls and correcting things after the camera cuts. But in sports, perception becomes reality very fast.
There is no doubt in my mind, Caitlin Clark fans is pissed off with Stephanie White. Y'all want to know what happened yesterday? I went live yesterday, right? And instead of us mourning the loss of McConnell, no. People wanted to talk about Stephanie White. Stephanie White gotta go. This has to stop. Now, there was some footage from the Indiana Fever that was dropped by the admin yesterday. Now, why they dropping this footage, I have no clue whatsoever. One thing I can say, I think the Fever admins need to drop footage that caters more to the fans, because that's essentially why y'all dropping the footage, is to, get the fans hype, get ready for the season. Now, these little experiments y'all doing just ain't it. I just gotta be honest. Now, granted, they can't get on board to be all like, hell, Stephanie White just standing there clapping like a cheerleader. No, they can't do all that. But something that they can do is play some, at least with her coaching. Come on, Caitlin, we need you to go right, go left, shoot a three, send the ball to Caitlin. Something. Give us something to be happy about. Because I'm telling you right now, this footage they dropped yesterday, oh my God. Guys, this is not it. This is not it at all.
And right now, the perception is dangerous. Fans are asking one simple question: who is actually running this team? Because from the outside, it looked like Stephanie White was trying to win over the cameras instead of showing the fan base a clear plan. And when a fan base already fears that Caitlin Clark might be underused, those clips become gasoline on the fire. That is why the panic is real, not because Stephanie White has already failed, but because she is now being judged before every game even starts. Every substitution will be watched. Every play call will be analyzed. Every time Caitlin goes 3 possessions without touching the ball, fans will notice. Every time she gets parked too far from the action, fans will react. Every time the offense looks slow, predictable, or disconnected, the same question will come back. Is Caitlin Clark being unleashed, or is she being controlled?
I don't know, but I don't want to deal with this the first game. I don't want to deal with them trying to lie. I don't want to deal with them trying to cover up. Like Caitlin Clark might not be dealing with an issue if she is. Another thing, Stephanie White need to be fired. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't care how they put it. Stephanie White is not the coach for Caitlin Clark. As soon as Caitlin Clark got to going and she started having that third quarter explosion we all seen, Stephanie White immediately took her off the ball. Then she started realizing, damn, we're not scoring anymore. Let me put the ball back in Caitlin Clark's hand. All these different experiments, all these different things that she doing is not it, bro. I just got to be honest. It's just not it.
And that is the real tension here, because fans are not just worried about wins and losses. They are worried about Caitlin being iced out. They remember last season. They remember the awkward stretches. They remember the moments where Caitlin looked like she was fighting the opponent, the pace, and sometimes even the rhythm of her own team. They remember when the offense did not always feel built around the player who made the league impossible to ignore.
On a night in, night out basis in the WNBA, doing my thing and being spectacular doing it. That's the reason all these people are here. That's the reason all these people have gained all this interest in the league. So to hear her voice that understanding, Stephanie White ain't gonna be able to stay in the way it is. Oh no, Caitlin Clark is not about to let bonehead Stephanie White block her greatness and even more opportunities that are waiting for her.
So now, any hint of that happening again becomes a problem. That is why comments about running plays for Kelsey Mitchell created such a reaction. And let's be fair, Kelsey Mitchell is not the villain here. She is a serious scorer. She is important to the Fever. She can absolutely help Caitlin Clark win. But balance cannot mean confusion. Balance cannot mean pretending every player has the same gravity. Balance cannot mean taking the ball away from the one player who changes how every defense in the league has to think. Because when Caitlin Clark has the ball, the entire floor shifts. Defenders step higher, help defenders panic earlier, passing lanes open, bigs get easier touches, shooters get cleaner looks. The whole team becomes more dangerous. So yes, the Fever need more than Caitlin, but they cannot build an offense that makes Caitlin feel like just one option. That is not balance. That is overthinking. And Stephanie White cannot afford to overthink this, because the pressure around Caitlin Clark is bigger than basketball now. This is business. This is media. This is the future of the league. Caitlin Clark is tied to massive brands: Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Xfinity, national broadcasts, sold-out arenas, primetime slots. The Fever are not just coaching a roster anymore, they are managing the most valuable spotlight in women's basketball. That means every decision has consequences. If Caitlin looks electric, everybody wins. The Fever win. The WNBA wins. The broadcasters win. The sponsors win. The fans win. But if she looks boxed in, if she looks frustrated, if the offense looks like it is trying to make her smaller instead of bigger, then the questions will become brutal. Why would you take the most exciting player in the sport and make her less exciting? Why would you slow down the one player who brings new people into the building? Why would you ask Caitlin Clark to fit into a system when the system should be built around her? That is the warning Stephanie White has to hear. Caitlin Clark does not need to threaten anyone. Her value speaks for itself. The ratings speak. The ticket sales speak. The endorsements speak. The fan reaction speaks. And now the next game becomes the first real test. Because practice clips and interviews only tell us so much. The truth shows up when the ball is tipped. Fans will be watching everything. Who brings the ball up? How quickly does Caitlin touch it? Is she initiating the offense? Is she coming off high screens? Is she attacking downhill? Is she creating early pressure? Is she being trusted to control the tempo? Or does the offense look slow, careful, and afraid to let her cook? That is what people want to know, because one game will not define the season, but it might define the trust. If Stephanie White comes out with a fast, sharp, Caitlin-led offense, the noise can quiet down quickly. Fans will forgive practice clips. They will forgive awkward media moments. They will forgive early uncertainty if the product on the floor makes sense. But if the Fever come out flat, if Caitlin looks disconnected, or if the offense looks like it is trying to prove a point instead of win games, then the backlash will explode. And that is the part Stephanie White cannot ignore. This fan base is not passive anymore. They are not just watching casually. They are emotionally invested. They have spent money. They have traveled. They have bought jerseys. They have defended Caitlin online. They have helped turn the Fever into one of the most talked about teams in basketball. So they feel ownership over this moment. And whether that is fair or not, it is real. They want proof that the Fever understand what they have. They want proof that Caitlin is the engine. They want proof that Stephanie White is not going to turn the most electric player in basketball into a safe, watered-down version of herself. And this is where Stephanie White deserves a real chance. She is experienced. She knows the league. She has been around high-level basketball for a long time. A few short clips do not prove she cannot coach. But this is not a normal job. This is not a normal roster. And Caitlin Clark is not a normal star. The patience level is different. The spotlight is different. The consequences are different. Stephanie White is coaching in the middle of a storm, and every decision she makes now carries more weight than it would anywhere else. That is why Caitlin's warning matters, because it cuts through everything. The fame only matters if the basketball works. The business only grows if the product stays electric. The fans only keep coming back if Caitlin Clark is allowed to be the player they came to see. So now Stephanie White has one job. Do not hide her. Do not slow her down. Do not overcorrect. Do not turn the most dangerous weapon in the league into a decoy. Build the offense around her gravity. Let her create. Let her attack. Let her make mistakes if she has to, but let Caitlin Clark be Caitlin Clark. Because if she is unleashed, the Indiana Fever become must-watch television. But if she is held back, the fans will not just complain. They will revolt. And that is why Stephanie White is already under pressure. Caitlin Clark's warning was not loud, but it was clear. The league is watching. The fans are watching. The sponsors are watching. And now Stephanie White has to prove she understands the assignment. If you're still watching, drop Unleash Clark in the comments.